While this seems really powerful, the cost is too heavy, so I'm going to say it's not that good.
You say it's a stinker.
I am going to say that, yes.
Welcome to another installment of Staple or Stinker.
This has been a few now, and I think I'm getting the gist of this now, a little bit.
If you play Yu-Gi-Oh or something, there's another edition on the Yu-Gi-Oh channel, which you can find here or in the description below. So there's actually the reverse. Adam was showing me some cards, and now I'm trying to retaliate, getting him back to the place where he belongs in the guessing wrong business.
And let's see if I can do as well as you
But
did.
first, yes. Don't forget, if you like the content, if you like to see more of this, more of any decks, like and subscribe, comment in the video if you thought like, which cards would you like to see in one of those editions, and then we present it to Adam. And yeah, just generally make it known that this is a good channel, and let's go.
Okay.
First card you get.
All right, let's see. We have Survival of the Fittest. Okay, let's see. So it is 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 green, enchantment. Choose and discard a creature card for 1 green mana. Search your library for a creature card, reveal that card to all players, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your library afterwards. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is kind of interesting from the sense that it's a search card for any creature, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, cool. So any creature at all.
As long as it's a creature.
But it does require you to, first of all, pay for the card. Then it has a cost you have to pay in order to actually use its effect. And you have to discard the creature. But then there are cards that like being put in the graveyard, so it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, as you know from Yu-Gi-Oh, graveyard can be a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's like tutoring anything, and but that can also put in the graveyard that can be really, really good. But the cost seems like every time you want to do it, this is actually genuinely a tough one.
It wouldn't be fun if it's easy, right? You're not getting lightning bolts.
Oh yeah, I'm not getting easy cards here. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and straight up say I think this is a good card. It's a tutor. Sure, it discards and you have to pay for it, but discarding something isn't always a bad thing.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like it's that heavy of an initial cost, like 2 mana, 1 of any color, and then green, and then just green to keep kind of playing it. I think that this is a good card in like green text.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to pay 2 mana for the enchantment, and then a green for every creature you do, which is quite the heavy setup, but that card is outstanding.
Yes.
Like, maybe not the beginning of Magic, where your creatures tended to be a little bit poopy, you know? But the more cards were printed, the more interactions there were with the graveyard.
As it always is, yeah.
There are actually creatures that you can, when you discard them, play for free.
Yeah.
So you just put them into the play. And there are creatures that reanimate stuff from the graveyard. So you discard a good creature, get the one that reanimates.
And like sometimes it's better to have stuff like in your graveyard than it is to have in hand, because if you can't do
Exactly.
anything with it in hand, you pay
yes.
cost, but you can kind of circumvent that sometimes. But yeah, so I think that was while the cost seems high, the benefit from like getting it is too good. So,
yeah, you make up the mana easily once you activate it. Banned in many, many formats.
Okay,
Outstandingly good.
Solid.
All right, well done. One for
Solid.
you.
Okay, cool.
That was my generous offer as a start.
Thank you.
You know?
Yes. Okay, let's see. So, let's see if you're as generous as I think you were.
No, now it's gonna get harder.
Oh my God, what is this? Cosima, God of the Voyage, legendary creature, God. 2 colorless and 1 blue. Okay. Effect: at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Cosima is exiled, you may put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Cosima to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and draw X cards, where X is the number of Voyage counters on it. Okay.
So one other thing, it does have a backside.
Oh, okay.
So you can choose to catch which sides. You can turn around and then see the other card.
Can I have a quick look? Okay, backside of the card, the Omen Keel, legendary artifact vehicle. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. Oh, whoa, okay. So,
Okay, just to comprehend a little.
Yeah.
The front side is a creature. You can, in your upkeep, exile it, and whenever you play land, it gets a counter, and you draw a card when it comes into play. You can charge it up, or cash it in as any time as you want, or you play this vehicle, which is an artifact creature. Once you use creature to crew it, so you can animate it, and then it has the effect that it says once it does damage.
Okay.
So you have the flexibility of the 2/4 and the vehicle.
Okay, so the 2/4 was 3 mana that cost?
Yes, 3 mana, 2/4.
Okay, that seems like pretty good stat lines for 3 mana. Like it's not insane, but it seems okay. Its effect, so it exiles itself, and then you bring it back.
Right, you exile itself in your next turn, and then whenever you play land, it gets a counter. And when it comes into play, you can choose to put it into play at any time.
Okay.
When you play the land, and then you draw as many cards as you put counters on it.
Okay, and you get counters from playing lands.
Yes.
Okay, and then this side of the card exiles cards from the top of your opponent's library.
Exactly, and then you can play them.
You can play lands from those, and that triggers the effect. Does it? No?
No, because this is this is the same card.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not the
okay,
different.
okay, cool.
But you need to animate it with the creature, so it
You have to put one creature on it.
right,
in order
and
to
then it
accrue
needs to deal damage. Yeah.
This seems like there's a lot going on in this card.
This feels like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, right?
It feels like they're like, oh yeah, whatever, just write on the back now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we've run out of pages. There's almost like an anti-synergy there, because this feels like this should be synergistic with the other side of the card.
Well, you can only play one of those cards, right? So
You can only play one of them?
well, if you play the backside,
Yeah.
you cannot play the front side because you already played.
Oh, right, sorry, but like if you have.
You could play both of them, like.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you have both of them at the same time, you could play back and forth.
Oh, I feel like it might. The drawing is good, and the exiling from your opponent's deck is also good, but then you also have to crew by putting a creature on it. I just feel like this is maybe a little bit too much of an awkward card. I don't know if that's right, but I'm gonna say.
You mean like only this side? Because you can choose to play the other side as the 2/4.
See, the other side looks so much better than like this side.
Yeah, I mean, if the other side is better, maybe this is like a
Yeah, maybe we don't care about
options
this.
D, and you don't have to do it. Maybe.
Solely based off of like forgetting this side because I genuinely think this side sucks.
Yeah.
I think the other side is it's a 2/4, so that's already good stats. You exile it during your upkeep. Well, you choose to exile it, right?
You can also leave it in play if you
Okay,
want
so
to.
you can choose to exile it during your upkeep, and then you gain counters on it when you play lands, which you're going to be doing anyway. 1 per turn though, so it makes it kind of a little slow. Oh, this is tough. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with my original mindset. I'm gonna say this card stinks. It seems really good, but I just feel like maybe it's a little too slow. Oh.
Okay, so when this card came out,
Yeah.
people went wild.
Okay.
Mainly because of the front side. Because
Okay.
the back side is kind of a, it's fine,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not. So you play it like a 2/4, and then you can exile it, and then whenever you play land, you charge up those things, and it can't be countered anymore.
Yeah.
It can't be active.
Okay, yeah.
And then there are like fetch lands where you can play a land and it sacrifice to get
yeah,
another
okay.
land, so you get like multiple triggers
So, yeah.
out of this, and then you get more counters, and like the whole thing seemed too good to be true, which it was. It was bad.
Oh,
It was
okay.
actually, you're right.
You're setting me up for the fall there. Okay.
Yeah, no. The problem is you played the 2/4, which is actually kind of medium to bad
Yeah.
stats for,
Okay.
especially for constructed, where you can have anything up to like a 4/4 or 5/5 even.
All right.
And the way that it needs to stay on the battlefield 1 turn is already enough for it to be pretty bad.
Okay,
because then people had time to remove it, and then you have no like way of like getting it back again, and also putting it in the exile still takes 2 or 3 more turns to get you the payoff.
because you do have to play the lands. I'm like, yeah, there's
Yes.
fetch lands and stuff, but okay, cool.
Yeah, people were crazy and said, "Wow, this is crazy. We're gonna build 1,000 decks with it, and everything is good, and blue is strong." But unfortunately,
Okay.
you were right.
All
and
right,
this card was
that's
bad.
not so bad then. I'll take that.
All right.
Number 3.
Number
let's
3.
go. All right. Yawgmoth's Bargain. Oh, I love the artwork on some of the older like Black Magic cards. It's so good. So we have a 4 mana colorless and then 2 black. Enchantment. Skip your draw step. Pay 1 life. Draw a card. Okay. So skip your draw step. Sure, you're skipping your draw step, but then is that not immediately like offset by the fact this doesn't tap the card, right?
No, you can use it as many times as you want.
All right. Okay. So I know in Yu-Gi-Oh that would be like broken. It's like you would just win every time you drew the card.
If you ignore the cost,
I mean, even if you like take the cost into account, you'd still win. You just set up a board where you couldn't do anything, but
getting 6 mana in Magic
it's hard, right?
It's not as easy as
Yeah.
putting like some tributes.
That's the thing. So in terms of like
But there's a
Yu-Gi-Oh,
way
because
to
you
cheat
don't
enchantments into play.
because in Yu-Gi-Oh you don't play like you don't have like a cost system or like a resource system, that would be broken.
Yeah, also in Yu-Gi-Oh! All the spells you draw are free.
Yeah,
in Magic, the cards you draw, you still have to
also
pay
have to pay for mana. So, like, while this immediately seems broken, when you take into the account that you do have to pay resources, it does seem a little less good. Also, that's a heavy, like, mana requirement. 6 mana. Yeah, sure, it's like 4 colorless, but 2 black. But that is quite heavy. However, I still don't know if I'm going to say that discounts this card, because...
I mean, drawing a card for 1 life is also in Yu-Gi-Oh! Would be really good because you have 4,000 life.
8,000.
Yeah, 8,000. So you can draw 8,000 cards.
Yeah, I mean, like, they balance it to be like, pay like 1,000 or 500 or whatever. But like, that would be kind of broken. God, that's a very difficult one.
We'll get him.
No. Okay, so based solely off the fact that like the resource system is super important in Magic, and a lot of cards are balanced around the fact that the resource system requires you to have resources to play them. You know what I mean? And this is already 6 mana. Is there like a discard step in Magic as well?
Yes, you have to discard down to 7 cards at the end.
At the end of your turn or your opponent's turn?
Your turn. It's like the same in Yu-Gi-Oh!
In Yu-Gi-Oh! So.
So if you're in your opponent's turn, you can pay as much as you want, and then you keep it for your turn.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say that this is just too heavy of a cost to pay in order to like do this. Not the life points thing, but like the whole like you needing mana and stuff like that. And then you're gonna be like, yeah, but you could just cheat it or whatever. But I'm gonna say, like in a vacuum, while this seems really powerful, the cost is too heavy. So I'm gonna say it's not that good.
You say it's a stinker.
I am going to say that, yes. I don't know where you got me or not. I'm confused.
We're already celebrating the point we got. No, this card is outstanding.
Okay, yeah.
Like you're right. Casting it fairly would be an issue, but that's not what you're doing.
Yeah, so that was my concern about it, because like there's definitely stuff that like cheats this out. There's like, I mean, maybe at the time when it was first came out, it sucked, but then there's definitely something that cheated it.
Even then. Actually, back then, the artifact mana that you could ramp off was very strong. It was hardly used to just cast it and use it, but you have like a Dark Riches spell, which for 1 black makes 3 black.
Okay.
So you were able to power it out.
Okay, so there's a lot of like mana generation stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like how Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have mana, so you don't need this, but in Magic, there's a lot of ways to create mana instantly for 1 turn.
Okay.
And once this is in play, a lot of things can happen when you draw your library. I think your deck is kind of set out to just win at that turn. Right, 1 point for me. All right, number 4.
We're not hopeless quite yet. We still have a chance. All right, number 4, Undergrowth Champion. So 3 mana, 1 colorless, 2 green, creature elemental. If damage will be dealt to Undergrowth Champion while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove a +1/+1 counter from Undergrowth Champion. Landfall, gonna need you to, or actually does it say here, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Undergrowth Champion. 3 mana for a 2/2. Garbaggio stats.
Absolutely.
Not very good. You do, however, have the option to prevent damage being dealt to it, and that's pretty good because it's can kind of, I guess, be immune to a lot of damaging spells and combat, which makes it very difficult to figure out. But then that seems too slow. I feel like it's easily removable, and you are usually already placing your land to get mana in order to pay this, which means you don't get to put a land down the turn you get this out, unless you cheat it somehow. But I feel like there's better things to cheat.
You can play this and then play your land after.
I suppose, but by that point you already have to have 3 mana, so you'd have to have like 3 lands set up, or like a treasure or something to like cheat it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's better things you can do. I'm gonna say this card is not very good.
Remember when I told you about the fetch lands?
Yeah.
So once you play 1 of your lands, it gets a counter.
Yeah.
So when you sacrifice your land, it gets a 2nd counter.
Okay.
So at this point already it has 2 shields of being indestructible. Right. And then like on the future turns, you play more lands, it gets more counters, and then people also don't want to block it anyway because it got already bigger and all their creatures now worth a counter that they remove. So when this came out, people were like incredibly excited to play this in green ramp decks that puts lands into play, puts counters. It was like a 3 mana 4/4 because you attack from the prefer. It also didn't hold up. You're correct.
Okay, cool, brilliant. It does. Is it just too slow? Like
it was as you said, a bit too slow.
Yeah, because I do feel like for 3 mana, there's better things you can do, right?
Yes. It's a future investment where the future was a little bit like unsurprisingly exciting.
Short-sighted, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
okay.
And people went like, oh, I play land and it gets bigger, but no, yeah, you're right.
Okay, cool. All right,
last
not doing
one.
too bad. All right, okay, last card. Mental Misstep. So I know what this is. This is like the Phyrexian mana. You can pay life instead, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So you can pay 2 life instead of paying the blue mana.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to, it's free.
So counter target spell with converted mana cost 1. So what's converted mana cost mean? It has a cost of 1?
It's basically everything that is on the top right that has 1 symbol.
Okay, so countering stuff seems really good. It's an instant. The way that works in Magic, so just to get this correct, so in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to do quick play stuff, you have to set the card or like set the trap. You don't do that in Magic, right?
No, you just have it in your hand.
And you can, you can
and
shotgun it.
since this is free, you can just play it at any time.
Yeah, but it's also free, which is nuts, right? Because it
costs 2 life, but basically free.
Well, like 2 life for a counter seems like just to completely go like, whatever. And if you're going first, maybe your opponent wants to do something, cast a spell that might get their turn rolling, and you just counter it, and then maybe that shuts them down. And then even if you're going second, you can also just pay the life because you can stop them and then start doming them a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like this card's really good just because it's essentially free. Can be cast whenever, and then also is just good. Maybe it gets bad the later you get into the game, but I feel like if you open with this, it's really good. Oh, this can also counter itself.
Yes.
Okay, so like, I feel like that also enters into like a toxic area where it's like, I hope you have your mental misstep to counter my mental misstep. And then because it's free, okay, this card's really good. Because it's free, if you just draw like 2 mental missteps, you can like going back and forth. Yeah, this card I think this is really good.
I mean, that revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that revelation was spot on. It was exactly what happened. It was not only just very good on its own, because when you can prevent your opponent doing something in the very early turns, it multiplies to the later turns.
They lose a lot of tempo.
Exactly. If they can't play their 1 mana creature, you're already a little bit breathing. If there's a lot of 1 mana spells that have a heavy impact. On the older formats, there's a 1 blue card that draws 3 cards, just like this, like your Pot of Great in Magic. You can only play it once.
Sure.
But
that's still really good though.
Yeah, the better the format goes, the cheaper the cards got. And once people realized this card is good, they started playing it itself just to remove your opponent's ability to also play this, and eventually it just got banished from everything because it was just too toxic, like to get into everything.
Yeah, because it just feels like almost like you have to draw your mental misstep.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you just, not to say that you win, but you definitely put yourself in a winning position just by being able to go, you miss your turn.
Exactly, and even because 1 mana spells are so strong, also in the later stage of the game, the card is almost never really dead.
Okay.
Because sometimes like when you hold it for 2 or 3 turns, you find an opportunity to use it again, and since it's free, it just pulls your deck very well. Well done. That was good. Man, 4-1. I thought I'd get you with some of those.
I feel like I'm getting better.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you have a lot of. I think. I remembered on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing, we had some of those cards that had effects on your opponent and also cast for free, which range from being very good to very bad.
Yeah.
So you could kind of assess, like the moment you realize, wow, you can play this to
that's the thing. Some of the stuff kind of like crosses over because like this counters itself, but then also it's like free and it's good and it's whenever. Same with the survival of the fittest. It's like, you can discard a creature and it seems heavy, but also there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the graveyard that's great. So it's kind of nice.
Basically, everything when you think. There needs to just be a good card for this card to be good. Magic has like 24,000 cards. There's a good card for it,
I am a little bit disappointed that I missed out on the bargain. Probably should have known that drawing a card for life is too good, and you can probably cheat it out. But I did get a little bit baited by the resource system. But
good. All right.
I'm pretty happy with everything else.
We'll always have next time. 4-1 this time. I mean, next time I'm gonna cruise on. For you. What do you think? Which cards might have stumbled at him a little bit more, and then maybe we'll include them next time.
I promise I won't look at the comments as well. I'll keep my eyes closed. I'll be blind.
Together we can do this, right? If you like the video, like and subscribe. Make us know if you like this segment specifically. If you want to see some other constructed stuff, put it in the comments. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.
Yes.